I was asked last night at a 3AW function where you live. Do you live in Melbourne?
Well, interestingly enough, well, obviously at the moment I do.
Well, hello to Olivia and Anna, because they're big fans. And the second part of their question was, what's your address?
Girls, I tell you what, if you hurry up and get down here to 3AW, I'll be here for a bit.
There you go. It's great to see you, and congratulations on this. It's sort of become a part of people's lives, this show.
Dennis, it's amazing, isn't it? Richard O'Brien, who wrote the show, was telling me that he had an opportunity, a performance space, a tiny little space became available for 3 weeks in London back in 1971 or whatever. 3 weeks. So he wrote this nutty little show to go into this performance space for 40 years down the track. Here we are. We're talking about Rocky Horror still. There's a production currently in Milan. There's, it's mind-blowing, really. And for me, having done it 20-something years ago when I was only 6. To see it even more popular with a much broader demographic all these years down the track, just amazing.
I've just had further contact from Olivia. She just
really?
said
Was that buzzing sound?
She's on her way.
Fantastic.
Craig...
I'm on my way just thinking about it.
Yes, on my way to misery and happiness today. Proclaimers, here we go.
That's it.
What's it like being in the role again, and has it changed at all over the years?
I can honestly say, Dennis, I'm enjoying it more. Just, with a little more life experience, a few more miles on the clock. But what's really interesting is audiences in 2014, 2015 compared to when I did it in 92 or whenever it was. I've been saying to friends, come see the show twice. Once to see the show on stage, and a second time to see the show that the audience put on.
Yes, because the audience actually become part of this and take on...
So much. And this sort of selfie, we're being filmed right now, aren't we? This sort of selfie internet mad world we live in these days. People in the audience are trying to outrage what we're doing on stage. Because if they can get themselves featuring in a really saucy snap with, Frank over their shoulder, and they can get that on their Facebook, their Twitter, or whatever it is. So we're seeing some outrageous behaviour in the audience. I want to stop the show sometimes and just take it in for a minute.
But what great entertainment that is.
Well, it is. It's doubling the bang for your buck if you come to Rocky, because you get the show on stage and you get the show in the auditorium.
How many people dress up?
Look,
And have you had any unusual experiences?
Well, it's funny you should ask me that. People do dress up, Dennis.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, just the other night, I was walking back to my accommodation, which is not terribly far from the theatre. And there was half a dozen gals walking behind me. It was a freezing cold night, I should point out. We've had some cold nights, as our listeners know. So they're all in overcoats and scarves and what have you. Just as I'm reaching the front doors to this particular building where I'm staying, one of the girls yelled out, "Craig!" Just like that. And I turned around and, as I say, 6 or 7 of them all opened their overcoats.
Right.
Tiny little G-strings, fishnets, tiny little sort of corset, brassiere type things. Listen, that stuff doesn't happen when you're working on Sound of Music.
No, it doesn't. And you would have taken it in good spirit.
I did. I said to the 6 of them in the jacuzzi when we got upstairs, I said, This is what makes Rocky Horror special. Obviously, I couldn't fit the 7th one in. Someone said to me last night, they missed out when we were in Melbourne last year, so they made a point of getting there this time round. And lovely lady said to me, "Gosh, it comes naturally to you, Craig." And her husband went, "Yeah, a little too naturally, I reckon." Yeah.